What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, as you can tell. There's also a PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. Now, we are joined by Slick James Johnson, Ranty Flat Earth, Paul, and Mind Warped. How you all doing?
Good.
Hello.
Good to
There's a
have
pretty
you all.
interesting chat going on before the show started.
Mind Warp, do yourself a favor. If you want you and I to stay on good terms, don't advise me. Just do yourself that favor.
Okay, I wasn't
Okey-dokey.
going to advise you, man. I was just, you know what I'm about, man. Like, it's all good.
I hear you.
Shout out to Colin Turner for the super chat. Really appreciate your support. So, any signs of curvature?
Right now,
Nope. Nothing, just
Nope.
beliefs.
Nope.
Any signs of axial rotation?
Nothing but religious beliefs.
Hey, Ibon, how you doing? Can you hear us?
Good morning. Good. I can hear you guys.
Excellent. Good to have you. Any scientific
Thank you.
evidence of gravity?
Nothing but more religious beliefs. That's all it is.
I concur.
What about the distance to the sun? Any evidence of that?
no.
Well, Christian Huygens calculated distance from Earth to the Sun. He used the phases of Venus to find the angles in the Venus-Earth-Sun triangle. But other than that, no.
Did he have any presuppositions in that measurement?
Pretty much everything.
There was two particular ones I was hoping you'd mention.
Reality does not require any distance measurement of the sun. The sun is right where it needs to be to do what it does.
Sure, but there's just been a claim made that there's been a measurement, Slick.
I'm pretty
really?
sure that's
Yeah, back in
Who made that?
1653.
But do you know what
How accurate do you
presuppositions?
think that was?
Do you know what presuppositions were made? Ibon.
What was that?
Do you know what presuppositions he made or used in one instance?
That I can't quite remember, but I think it had to do with there being like a complete right angle with Venus and Earth, or Venus and the Sun, and thus he was able to measure the distance of the Earth to the Sun.
Okay, no. The first presupposition is that Earth is a sphere with a radius value.
Oh yes,
That's
there you
the
go.
first presupposition. His second presupposition being that Venus is the same size as Earth, as a sphere with a radius value. So he makes those two presuppositions, and that applies Kepler's third law.
True.
So just to draw a line into that, so no distance to the sun beyond these presuppositions of Earth being a sphere and Venus being a sphere the same size as Earth, then? No? Anybody? Anybody
Correct.
at all?
You know, I just got to remind people
No,
of certain names throughout history and their assertions.
Indeed. Did we cover scientific evidence of gravity?
yes, it's just another religious belief.
Apart from
Right.
the roller door falling down and breaking my wife's arm. Is that gravity? I think it's density.
Yeah, relative density.
Reality does not need gravity whatsoever, but for their religious belief, they need gravity, so they insert it artificially and create an artificial reality.
Any evidence that we can have gas pressure without a container for all those fundamentalists who believe the sky is a vacuum known as space?
Definitely
just-
not.
More religious stuff. That's all that is. Just beliefs, 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 beliefs. That's all it is.
That's the one that gets me.
What was that?
Well,
Mind
that's the
warp?
thing. See, that's how the system works. See, you
I
have
just-
to. That's how the system works. In other words, once your belief system is open and you're open to beliefs, now you can be told anything because all you have to do is believe it. It's just that simple. You can be told that the earth is spinning. You can be told that it's tilted. You can be told that it's orbiting. You can be told that the earth formed from planetesimals. You can be told that gravity pulls everything to the center. You can be told that there was a big bang that happened some point out of singularity. See, you have to believe it all. It's all a belief system. All
But
of it.
Slick, if what you've just said has no value, then people may as well just believe what they want to believe. Because you could just say any random. You may as well just said dog, fish, tree, cloud, because they're just random words to you because you don't believe what you're saying. So what it means is that what you're saying has very little value if people are to take what you're saying as truth. Otherwise, like I said, they may as well just believe what they want to believe, like have their own ideas, right?
Unless I'm stating a fact, right?
What a fact like what? That
I
people
said,
don't have-
no, hold on. I said, I'm just countering what you said. I said, unless I'm stating a fact, and a belief is not necessary now, is it?
Well, beliefs are necessary in order to operate. Otherwise, when you wake up, you would have to believe certain things in order to go about that day. Otherwise, you would stay in bed, you wouldn't leave the house, you wouldn't do anything, you wouldn't communicate, you wouldn't speak with anybody. So again, you've just give a statement, and any statement that you give here on afterwards, you have to believe that it has value, because if you don't believe it has value, you wouldn't speak.
I don't have to believe anything because there is a such thing as facts.
Mm-hmm. But are you speaking?
That's what I was saying in the pre-show. I was saying that a belief can cause a reality. So a belief would cause a person to do something, which would in turn cause a reality and an effect. So I'm cut. That's where I was confused.
Right. Well, reality doesn't need beliefs because reality is full of facts. And if you get your beliefs out of the way, the facts will come through.
Again, that has no value. It doesn't mean anything.
You know why? Because your beliefs, it doesn't listen,
words, right?
It doesn't mean anything, Chemo, because your beliefs are in the way. See, I don't have that problem. See, you do. So remove your beliefs and the facts will come through.
Is that a valuable statement? Does it have value to it? Does it have a meaning, or just words?
Are you implying a spiritual thing?
No, I'm just implying just what I just said. In other words, the beliefs is your problem. Once you remove the beliefs, then the reality can come through. Right now, the beliefs are blocking the reality that's right in front of you.
What's the reality?
I hear what you're saying. Like,
yeah, what is reality? What is the reality?
You will see the reality when you remove the beliefs.
Yeah, but I will never see your reality, will I? People will not see your reality.
I'm answering your question. I'm answering your question. If you want to see reality, get rid of the belief system.
No, they would have to see it through your eyes.
You don't have to see anything through my eyes. Reality doesn't show.
That's my point. So there's no point in you speaking reality, at any time because you have your words have no value. That was my point.
Word salad. Reality does not come through my eyes. Reality just is.
And what is that reality?
Hold on. You're the one that's putting it in my eyes. I never said anything about reality in my eyes. Those are your words.
Are you trying to make me see reality through your eyes?
No, I'm not trying to make I'm not trying to make you see anything. What I am telling you is that if you want to see reality, you have to get rid of the beliefs. Now, you can take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth anything.
Not
yes, I agree. I don't think that is worth anything. I think what you're saying has very little value because you don't believe what you're saying. You're just giving random words like
extremely hard to explain. Every single person on this panel has
hold on,
three people talking.
Hold on,
hold on. Hey, Chocolate, how you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. I see it's nice and hyper in here already.
Can we try to keep it to just two at a time?
Well, every single person has a different reality. My reality is completely different to someone else's reality. It's like perspective. I see things completely different to every single other person on this panel. So my reality is different. My beliefs are different. So saying that you can get rid of them and trying to get rid of your beliefs,
You can't get rid of your
I
beliefs.
can't get my head around it because
Get rid of-
everyone experiences both of those separately. So I don't quite know what you're trying to get out. I'm only trying to understand you, Stick. I'm not trying to
Right, and I'm
you out,
trying.
man.
I hear you, but I'm trying to explain. But every time I try to explain, the talking starts. See,
It's really hard to get.
Okay, well, just would you listen, please? Reality just is. It doesn't need your interpretation of it. Everybody does not have a separate reality. There is only one reality. The reason that people have all these separate realities, because people have all of these beliefs, which create these realities in their imagination. Reality does not live in the imagination. Get rid of the beliefs and the reality will reveal itself.
So you're talking
again,
about
I
the
disagree.
singularity, the single mind consciousness. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I am saying is what I just said.
Which has zero value. This is what I'm trying to show you guys. Whatever he says, it's not. He says take it for what it's worth. So he understands it's worth very little. It's worthless.
Then don't listen to it, Kimo. If it's worthless,
I'm experiencing something that is worthless. Why do I have the right to do that? Slit? Do I have the right to listen to something that is worthless? Like you should take it for what it's worth. You said that, right?
Yes, you have the right.
Right.
You have the right to do whatever you want. So can I finish, please?
What to do?
Would you let me finish the Kimo? Let me finish the statement.
So why would you start commanding me?
Would you let me
do this? Don't do that. And I just gave my version of what your opinion or your beliefs or your advice were, which I said is worth very little. You said don't listen. Well, why are you commanding me all of a sudden? I don't understand.
I was trying to finish what I was saying, but for some reason you have a real word salad problem that you need to get out.
You started to command me. You said don't.
If you will shut up for a second, please. Can you shut up? Can you put your mouth on hold for a second?
Sorry. Go ahead, Slit.
Thank you. Now, whatever the words that I am saying, if they don't mean anything to you, that's fine. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. That's what you don't understand. I'm just making a statement. I'm saying it. Now let it go. You don't have to try to beat it or try to beat it into your understanding. Maybe it's not meant for you to understand.
I know that, but you did say
the reason we're questioning it.
Does what this man has just said, does it have any value? Is this worth a discussion? This guy believes that he doesn't have something which he clearly has. So therefore I can say, yeah, this has very, very little value. But you can't tell me then what to do, like don't do this, do that, do this. You know, I have the right to listen and give my opinion if I think something is worthless, right?
That's fine. Do that.
Wouldn't also the statements that you're saying, Stick, be a belief of yours?
No, mine. There is no alternate. See, I'm not into alternates. I said what I said. The problem is that when you try to take what I said and you try to reword it, that's where the problem comes in. I know, but then if that's the case, hold on. So if that's the case, then just hear what I said and let it be. If you understand it, fine. If not, don't worry about it.
Well, then should we let it be and then move on?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the only reason is you said you're coming in here.
I know. Now you just said let it be and move on. So let's move on.
Okay, cool, man.
Can we say hello to our new guest? Hey, Flat Earth.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
I mean, does
hold on.
Hold on.
Does point at me saying
hello to our guest.
Hello. Can you stop talking? The reason I say hello to the new guests is so I can level them up. So I need more than like 2 words and then everyone else talking. Hey, Flat and Earth, how you doing?
Hi, good morning. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy indeed. Go on, Ibon. I'm sorry to shout at you.
Yeah, this is
no worries.
This is kind of a flat Earth debate, and it just feels like Slick just needs somewhere to go and talk. Like, you know, there's other places you can go, Slick, if you want to just chat.
Didn't we just let it go, Ranty? We just let it go, guy. Come on, don't try to start it back up again. It was just let go. Come on now.
I'm going to take that. Sorry, I'll take that, Ranty.
Agree with Ranty. Like the other day,
I'll field that. I don't mind fielding that. If I can ever get a word in on my own bloody show, probably never. Right, so yeah, Ranty, he's talking about people who have beliefs, and for the most part, I fundamentally agree with that. You know, I was watching a Wakey Wakey video only last night, and his words were similar but not the same. He was saying he tries wherever possible to not hold beliefs, and in many respects, I agree. So, I mean, I see this as a discussion worthy of flat Earth debate on account of the fact that we have beliefs about things like molten iron cores at the centre of presupposed spherical Earths, and those beliefs are what make up our reality. I can't remember if it was Ibon that mentioned this earlier. Maybe it wasn't Ibon, I forget who, or maybe it was Mind Warped. But essentially, that's what creates your reality. What you believe in, the construct that you think your world is essentially a belief if you're on a sphere. But that's your reality, nonetheless, and it's based on belief. So I see this as worthy. I'm not having a go at you, Ranty. I'm just saying, I'm glad you've brought that up. What's the point? And you know, because it gets lost in the argument between Spurs and Slick. And while that is the sentiment, you're reiterating. It gives me an opportunity to say why it is a worthy conversation. So I thank you, Ranty.
Yeah, I just don't think that this sort of debate tactic, talking about beliefs, is actually going to appeal to that many people. It's not going to put the bread and butter on the table and talk about what the proofs are and stuff, or the lack of proofs. You know,
but Slick did bring up a pretty valid comment before in the pre-show, like that I thought was quite valid as well. Was he thought that there was a lot of religion tied into flat Earth, where and there was I agree with what Nathan said. I think it's a valid point.
Okay, crack on.
Well, actually, Slick was more than happy to draw a line under it at that point, so you say carry on.
Well, but no, I was just saying that I also agree with Slick. I wasn't having a go at him, and everyone does experience things in their own way. So, and we do have beliefs that do form reality. So I was just trying to work out what he was getting at. I was just trying to wrap my mind around it.
I was saying that we don't, of course we want to limit the beliefs, but Slick's saying that he has zero beliefs, none at all. So of course, we don't want to believe that there's a dome because we haven't seen it, we haven't experienced it. We know that, but we do have general beliefs. I said to him before, you don't have to go to a place to know or to believe it exists, because he lives somewhere in America and he traveled to another place, and in order for him to get to that other place that he hasn't been to before, he would have to believe that this place is a real place. Like when they say, "Oh, do you believe China is real?" Or we say, "Oh, we haven't been there, we haven't experienced it." But we would still buy a ticket. We would still travel, believing that this plane is taking us to China. So it's not the idea of, we just, use beliefs and it's all religion. It's the idea that Slick is saying that he has none at all.
Okay, let me just extrapolate that just to save Slick and the row. So you talk about getting on a plane and traveling to Mallorca because you believe Mallorca exists and you've never been there, and you still buy your ticket, you get on the plane, you go to Mallorca. Right, well, that seems reasonable based on the standard of evidence that we have and the amount of accounts that we have and the other people that we have that have talked about going there. However, you can extract that out slightly further, one step removed, if you will, and say, what about a different location that we haven't been to that they claim exists, that only exists in a belief structure, like Mars, for example?
No, I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that point. I'm not arguing that point. We're saying that, a reason, if he has to move somewhere in America, he's saying that he hasn't experienced it before, so therefore he doesn't know about it. So we're saying that if he lives in, say, New York and he moves to California, he's never been to California, he hasn't experienced California. So in order to you can't say, I know California exists. He has to believe it exists if he's going to move there. Okay?
No, I don't, see, because I don't have to believe anything, because I won't know if California exists until I get there.
But you're trusting, you're going there, you're traveling there. That means that you believe this is a real place.
You are, yeah, but you are missing the point. The only reality that I know of is the journey that I'm on in the travel. Wherever I am, whether it's on a plane, boat, or a car, the only reality is where I am at that moment in time. That's the only thing that I can verify. I can't verify California until I arrive.
Yeah, but you're not just traveling blind. You're not just a zombie who's just walking.
Sir Schemo, may I ask you something? People have traveled to the moon. Does the moon exist where people have traveled? Where they landed on the moon?
No, I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. Now answer my question. People have been to the moon, or they claim they've been to the moon. Does that moon exist in your reality? Or is that a belief?
Well, I can see the moon, can't I?
Yeah, but people have been to the moon. They've claimed they've been to the moon. So if they say, hey, we're going to take you to the moon, Schemo, and you're going to be like, okay, let's go. I know what it looks like. I know what it'll be like when I get there. Is that true?
I don't believe the moon exists. I can see it.
Okay. Yeah,
this is a perfect example. Hold on, I don't want this to go off the rails. This is a perfect example.
So therefore, he has to believe that California exists before he gets there.
No, I don't.
So again, what kind of mind frame is a person in as they're traveling before they buy the ticket? What mind frame are they in? They haven't experienced it, but they're going to California. What is their mind frame?
Their mind frame is that they're going to experience a journey.
Yeah, to where? To a place that...
No, hold on. Now, you didn't hear what I just said. See, don't worry about to where. When you're on a journey... Okay, see, listen, I can't finish if you keep cutting me off. Now, I'm trying to clarify for you, but you keep talking. Now, when you're on a journey someplace, the only reality in that journey is the journey. Now, once you arrive to the place, that's when the place gets verified. The place doesn't get verified before the journey begins. That's the point that you're missing.
No, I'm not missing that point.
What about if you have to... what about if you have to like book a hotel or something if you're going to stay there? Or do you not do that until you arrive where you're arriving because you don't believe that a hotel exists until you get there?
You can book the hotel, but you won't verify the hotel until you arrive.
So you believe the people that have told you
don't believe anything. No, you don't believe anything. You just experience the journey. I keep telling you that, but you're not letting it sink in. And here's why. The reason that you're not letting it sink in is because you're not trying to understand. You're trying to find fault in what I'm saying. And whenever you're trying to find fault, that's just what you'll do. Find fault. You're not trying. I'm not finished. I'm not finished. You're not trying to understand. And that's why I left the conversation with you Friday, because I don't like playing this game. You're not interested in understanding. You're interested in finding fault. And I don't feel like playing that.
I understand it. And that's why I'm addressing it. But to say that what you're saying is, to me, ludicrous, because you wouldn't be able to operate if you didn't believe that California, you wouldn't just... Like I just said, you're not a zombie.
No, you don't get it, Schemo. I mean, I get Slick James. So obviously you don't get it.
Sorry, can I just ask an open question? Sorry to interrupt. Does everyone on the panel know what solipsism is? Take that as a no.
I have an idea. But...
No worries. A view or theory that the self is all that can be known to exist. I would say each time this conversation progresses, Slick, you get one step closer to pure solipsism.
And I heard that before, but no, I don't.
But at the moment, you're saying the experience around you can only be known to exist if you're currently experiencing it.
Well, no, that's not what. That's hold on. Chemo, he's talking to me.
See?
Now, no, I'm trying to correct Nathan. No, that's not the case at all. Whatever this solipsism is, or whatever that word is, that is not what's going on. I heard it, and I've listened to it, and I understand the meaning of it, but that's not what I'm stating whatsoever.
So he just uses his own definition. This is why I say it's very...
I'm not using my own... Gosh.
Or you could say that there's no definition for which Slick James describes. Think of it that way as well.
I think it's just hard. It's a hard thing to kind of describe to actually like.
Listen, sometimes what you have to understand is some things are beyond your understanding. That's just all there is to it.
Okay. I never actually got a chance to introduce Mac. Hopefully he's not away from his mic at the moment. Can you hear us, Mac?
Yes, sir, I can. How are you doing?
Very well. I need to turn you up a little bit, but other than that, very good. Good to have you.
Thank you, thank you.
I mean, I am in the same boat as Slick James, as I don't believe in things. It's unfortunate because I feel like believing is a lot easier. I mean, look, there's this guy called SR Monette. He's got like 3,300 subscribers. He's been doing videos on YouTube for 7 months. All his videos get thousands of views. And what he did was he pretty much predicted the rapture for it occurring on April 18th, 2019. And he said he'll stop making videos if he's wrong, because he's basically saying to his followers that he's got a direct contact with God, and God told him exactly when the date of the rapture was. Yet he didn't stop. He got it wrong. The rapture didn't occur, and he still got thousands of views going on. People believed him. His prediction never came true, just like everyone else who've predicted the rapture and the end of the world never came true. Yet there are followers, people who still believe him, they still watch and they listen, and they'll still believe what he says, even though he got things wrong. Where he says specifically, he was told by God, this is when the rapture will occur. Those are belief systems, and people will still believe him even after he's wrong.
Yep.
The evidence would show that person is not to be trusted.
Beliefs.
Hold on. Go ahead, Paul.
I said the evidence would show that person is not to be trusted if he makes that statement. And I think we all have it. I have it. I know Slick's going to push back. Everybody's going to push back, but I know what Spursky is saying is you can have either evidential-based belief system or non-evidential based belief system. And I think what Spurs is saying is we all have some level of evidence-based beliefs. Like, even though Slick may not agree with this, but you have to believe at a certain level that the evidence that Los Angeles exists to even make the move to start going in that direction. Now, your belief can stop being belief and become knowing once you arrive in Los Angeles. But we all have an evidential-based belief system, and that's the problem. I think we try to undermine belief system, and really we've all got them. And you can disagree or not, I don't care, but we all have them. We have to function in this world. You know, I have a belief that my wife is trustworthy. I have a belief in that. Now, she's shown herself to be trustworthy, but there's a level of trusting in that. There's a belief system in that, and I can't get around it. That's just the way it is. Now, could she break that trust? Yes. And then my belief in that will disappear.
Not necessarily.
Okay, I heard the word salad. Let me ask you a question,
Paul.
Hold on.
Hold on. Slick, hold on. So Spurs gave an example on Friday where he used, I can't remember the name of the project now, Project Fishbowl or something similar, where they're shooting up rockets up at the sky. They being the exact same people that give us the narrative currently about rockets. And in terms of his belief in the dome, he's led himself to confirmation bias from the same exact liars. So from my perspective sat here, obviously Slick's on the very, very extreme fringes of what he states, but I see Spurs as equally on those other extremes of beliefs, because he sought out confirmation bias from the same exact liars. Sorry, Spurs, you're just going to have to be the example in this instance. You don't have to like it.
No, I mean, I don't mind, because like I said, I can admit having beliefs. You know, these are things that we have to believe because, you know, that's how we operate. You know, otherwise you'd be sat there pondering your thoughts. Are they right? Are they correct? Should I think this? Should I think that? You wouldn't even speak, all right? Because it would have no value. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking.
I wouldn't call that belief. I call it assumptions. I don't believe
people
it's
believe
going to happen. I mean, just like when I'm watching an advertisement for something, I don't believe it's going to be exactly that, because I know through experience it's never exactly what the advertisers say it is.
Hold on,
I have an
this is different
assumption
standard.
that's most likely going to be what the advertisers say. But experience, again, it's an assumption that, well, I've experienced in the past that it's not exactly what the advertisers say. So I have an assumption. It's not a belief. It's an assumption.
Okay, well, if you use your analogy of an advertiser, and we have an advertiser that says they're going to supply you a wardrobe, and you order the wardrobe, it costs $200, it looks nice in the pictures, it arrives, and it's only 3 inches tall. Well, from that moment on, you know that that particular person is a liar, and you wouldn't then go and reference them again in future for furniture, because they're a known liar. Whereas in this instance, we've got an entity that Spurs has referred to that's being debunked in this particular tiny corner of the internet day in, day out, i.e. NASA and rockets. But the same assertion from the same liar, just because it comports to his belief. That's my point.
But in this case for Slick, though, he doesn't do that. He would say, well, I was going to ask, if somebody lies to him over and over and over again, he would just take that as, well, I'm just going to take the next thing they say as an experience, and not there's no trust or belief here, Nathan. This is the point I'm trying to get at with his version of beliefs. He's saying that if someone lies to him, time and time again, he will still accept what they're saying as experience, and he'll just, so if someone says New York is over here, New York is over there, and he goes there, it's not there, he returns, and then they say, oh, actually it's over here. Each time he will just go, because for him it's a new experience. He doesn't think, oh, I don't believe you. He just thinks, oh, okay, you've said it's over there. I want to go to New York, so you've said it's there. I'll just go with what you've said. That's what, and this is where I'm saying that with my beliefs. I'm saying that with everything with all the evidences that that the evidence that I've looked at, logically now to me, there has to be a don't. So I'm going off my logic, not it could be beliefs involved in that as well, but. I'm saying that I have to believe.
Okay. Let me just respond to that, Spurs. So, yeah, but you've just explained and paralleled your belief based on location and geography. Are you having a laugh? Isn't that pretty much the fundamental basis of what we're being attacked on? Our lack of accurate mapping for the flat plane that we dwell atop. Well, if you're going to use geography and say, well, he obviously knows that New York's over here, does he?
No, that's what Slick is saying.
That's what you're saying. That's your example. He knows when he travels from New York to LA that LA's there. Well, where's there? We don't know.
I'm saying let's say he's standing in the middle of America, and Slick says, I want to go to New York. And the guy says, that way. Just go in that direction. And he goes there in that direction as far as he can. He returns. And then Slick will say, I didn't see New York. I wasn't there. So the guy says, okay, go that way. So to Slick, each new experience, he doesn't take the last one like, oh, you lied to me. So it's not the same, though. It's completely different. He's taking new experiences as it is, just as it is now. So he won't say, oh, I don't trust you anymore because you lied to me last time. He's going to say, oh, okay, so now you're saying it's this way. Okay, so I'll go this way.
No, you're mixing your worldview with his worldview. He's got an extreme view of non-belief, and you've got an acceptance or actually a seeking out of confirmation bias based on a belief in something that's being debunked in this corner. So you're both at polar opposites. You're at the extreme end of both situation. But Slick, I can't answer for Slick in terms of how he's going to view a piece of information he acquires if he takes the wrong direction.
No, but that's the foundation of what, because people have asked him, if you go to have a drink of water, each time you have water, it's a new experience to him. He doesn't remember the last one and say, oh.
Kimo, could you do me a favor? Because you're doing an awful lot of speaking for me. Could you stop doing that, please? And if somebody has a question about my experience, they can ask me rather than have you explain me to them. If you could do that for me, please.
Sure. All right.
Now, I have another question I've been meaning to ask you.
Let's get that question out of the way then, Slick. Hold on.
It's just a quick one.
Hold on. Let's get that question out of the way then. So you take directions. Obviously, this is a strange hypothetical situation, but you go which way to New York? This is bizarre, but we'll keep it as the example was. And someone says, go that way. And you follow those directions and you don't find New York. And then by whatever weird coincidence, you find the exact same person. And they go, and you say to them, I didn't find New York. And he says, well, actually, you go that way. Well, would you, dare I say, believe him?
Because well, I won't answer for him, sorry. But...
See, yes, thank you. I would not.
You wouldn't
Why,
what?
Slick? Why wouldn't you do that?
Hold on, Spurs. You wouldn't what?
You're asking me what I wouldn't what?
So you've got to the point where the guy's told you where New York is. You've gone in that direction, and then you
I
find
didn't
it's not
find it.
there. You then go backtrack, and you find the same person again. You happen to cross paths, and you go, New York wasn't in that direction. And he goes, oh, it's over there. Well, do you take his word for it?
No, because by that time I've already told him he doesn't know what he's talking about, and the next time he gives me a wrong direction, I'm gonna slap the crap out of him.
But my point is that you don't trust what he says.
Now, I have a question that I would like to ask, and now just let me ask this question to Paul and Chemo. Are your limitations my limitations?
Well, it depends on what. Limited on what?
Just yes or no. Are your limitations, period, any limitations, are your limitations my limitations?
The answer is no.
What? In terms of what exactly?
Anything, limitations, period. In other words, your limitations, whatever they are those my limitations also?
Okay, can I answer?
Please do, because it has to.
I think everyone has their own limitations.
That's not my question. I'm asking them too. Are their limitations, whatever they are those my limitations too? That's what I'm asking them.
No, their limitations wouldn't be your limitations.
Thank you. No further questions.
They're not the same. They can't be the same. Just answer the question.
They won't answer the question.
I don't think anyone's limitations. Everyone's got different limitations.
Well, they can't be
completely different.
Eban just hit it on point. Thanks, Eban.
You're welcome.
What? I didn't know what he said. What did you say, Ebon?
I said they won't answer the question.
I had stepped away.
Okay, then. So,
Yep,
any evidence of the R value?
Are we still on housekeeping?
That was the end of the housekeeping, actually.
No,
there's no evidence of R.
Oh, jolly good. Well, that concludes the housekeeping.
No, let's make more housekeeping because we need more. I think
that was the best housekeeping ever.
Well, I slipped in the belief in a molten iron core in the middle of the argument rather than asking it as a question, so we did get all the questions in at least.
But what I like is, see, this is how tricks that people use. They'll use things like you'll equate believing in a dome with a trip to New York. See, those two things are they're not even in the same ballpark. But notice how they try to equate them like the same. Nobody has ever been to any dome, but yet you're making claims that there is one. Now, at the very least, somebody's been to New York. At the very least, so don't try to use.
What do you believe that? How do you know?
Analogy.
How do you know that somebody has been to?
Because I've been to New York.
No.
I was born and raised in New York.
Yeah, but you're saying that.
Are you meaning to say that you don't accept beliefs without proof? Is that what you're saying? You need proof to back up a belief?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all, because I don't have beliefs. I don't need them. They're not required in reality. Now, some people, for some reason, think that beliefs are a necessary thing. I understand that they are not. Now, my understanding and somebody else's understanding does not have to match. See, my
understand other people have beliefs.
That's their problem. That's not my problem. I don't care what other people have. That's them. Yes, I do get it. Of course I get it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm back. I stepped away for a minute.
So what you're meaning is you understand other people have beliefs, but you don't personally have beliefs.
Exactly. I don't need them. They're useless to me. I have no use for them, period.
And that's totally your prerogative.
Okay.
Exactly.
I think what you mean, you don't have any religious beliefs.
No, there you go again. I didn't say that. I said I don't have. Listen, Chemo, I don't need you to come behind me and say what I stated. I said what I said. I don't need you to listen, Chemo. I don't need you to clean it up for me if you don't mind. Don't do that if you don't mind. As a personal favor, don't clean up my statements for me.
Okay, Ranty, we've got you on screen. What you got?
Can I?
Oh, you guys finish. I mean, I've got a whole bunch of stuff to go on about, but yeah.
Can I just ask one quick question?
No, right. Okay.
So if you don't have beliefs, then what do you have? Like what? How would you describe your?
I have reality.
What would you describe your thoughts as?
There you go again. I
reality,
just
or?
answered your question. Didn't I just answer your question? I have reality. That's it.
Okay. Okay. So your
Now,
life is your
over
experience
to
of
Ranty.
reality.
Go ahead. Let Ranty. Ranty, take
No,
over, please.
What we've got, Ranty?
Oh, right.
Can we
okay.
allow Slick to have his reality and his experience and just talk about flat Earth and just move on from
Totally.
this, please?
Totally. I just had to ask that one
Okey-dokey.
question. Now
Yay.
I'm done.
You're on screen. You're nice and big. Excellent stuff.
Okay, so are you guys familiar with Al-K?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we have an image from Al-K. He was punting it over on Jose John J. Gonzalez's channel, and he was punting this as proof of curvature. On the left-hand side, we have an identical platform as to the one on the right, except the one on the right is further away. And he said that this is an exact example of proof of curvature. And I'd just like to see what you guys first and foremost would like to say about that.
Well, you're going to get a more limited angle the further it goes away. And the most limited angle is at the bottom of anything that you see in the distance.
Well,
yeah, so you're saying because the bottom is obscured, he means, is that what he's saying?
Well, what I'm
hang on a
do
second. I've just noticed. You've got the feet.
Yes, you have got the feet. Exactly. Well spotted, Nathan. That's exactly my point. So I've got two examples here, the same image. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to just crop this one out, and I'm going to do some adjustments. I'm just going to do the brightness and contrast so that we can see it a little bit better. And then I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to put it back on the original image, and we're going to have a look at it in comparison to the one on the left, because this is obviously this image here is this one here. I've just done some contrast with it. But what happens when we just increase its angular size, just increase it a little bit in height, you know, just to make it look the same? It's an identical match. There's no difference. You can see the feet and everything.
So in other words, literally, it's just the effect of it becoming slightly smaller in angular size because it's further away.
Yes, exactly. And yet this is what Al-K is over there punting. This is his latest find. This is his proof of curvature. And when I pointed out in the side chat that this was literally just a point of perspective, one's further away, so its angular size is smaller, he doubled down and said, no, this isn't perspective, this is proof of curvature. So what do you guys think?
Well, their proof of curvature would involve giving the feet and inches or meters value of whatever this is, oil rig presumably, and then they would say, well, it's the same feet and inches value when it's slightly further away, correct?
Yep.
There's just slightly more Earth curve that obscures it. Well, no, absolutely fact, without question, its angular size will, without fail, reduce with distance, Al-K. That's a given. I mean, that's a fact of life. This sphere bullshit that you believe in, that's definitely not a fact of life. That's a presupposition of an R value, coupled with an orthographic view that removes any perspective, and then the actual size being substituted where you should be using angular size. That would account for this thing getting smaller with distance. The thing you say it's not, well, that definitely happens. Perspective's real. Earth curve, on the other hand, total nonsense.
Here's an image that I was sent by Dr. John. He's done the Bedford levels, and he emailed me and he asked me what I actually thought of this particular image. So I've put 3 lines in here. These 3 lines are points of inferior mirage on different things. So on the left-hand side, we have a brown area with the inferior mirage smack bang in the center. Obviously, this human being that's actually on a boat. This is the boat that he's on. This inflatable boat. And he's about 2 miles away. So technically, if you're going to go to the Earth curve calculator and say, well, that lines up with proof of curvature because the boat is hidden, you can't see that. But then what you've also got to look at is you've got different inferior mirage lines with different objects in the background, proving that it isn't Earth curvature blocking it. It's proving that it's actually on a slant, exactly as Arwin says, the optical slant.
That's excellent.
It is, and when I emailed him, I told him about that. So, you know, I mean, I'm sure he'll put a video out about it soon. But it's very clear that you can see 3 specific in places where they got this inferior mirage, and you don't get that. And if it was a curvature of the Earth and the curvature started on the bottom red line, then obviously you wouldn't get these inferior mirages in the background. So yeah, just great stuff.
Excellent.
Slice Arcane as well put a video out some time ago now. I might have that up actually. Let me just see if I can. Thanks, Ranty2. So here we go. This is Slice Arcane, and this is him doing the modeling. So he's modeling the turbines that you like to present, Nathan. So this is a flat Earth plane, and this is a globe Earth image. Can you see where he's actually just dropped the feet beyond the curvature of the Earth, apparently? So what I've done is I've taken those two. This is the proof of curvature, the model one that he's modeled out. This is the flat Earth one that I've modeled out. And basically this is the image that he was comparing it to. So he put all the details in. And I've literally just put them side by side so that you guys can have a look. And what I want to concentrate on is the angle between the first hub and the last hub. So if we go through the center like that, like so they're all lined up, and then I put it next to the one for the model for curvature. There we go. So that's the model for curvature. Do the same for the model for flat. Pop it over there. And which one do you think's closest, Nath? If I go over here and
I've got to be honest, they all look exactly the same. I mean, obviously, there's a slightly. You're going to say there's a slightly less difference between the one that completely ignores perspective and claims they're dropping into the distance with the same actual sizes versus the one that gives you linear perspective. But I mean, yeah, okay, it's clear that the flat Earth example is closer to the reality of the picture, but it's still a hijacking of perspective in the first instance. So when these two images were created by Slice Arcane, the one on the left, the globe one, as you correctly point out, has just simply got the full size of the turbines accounted for, and he just gives the full size of it by showing it going behind a curve. Whereas there is no legs going down with the one on the right, because it's the one that's akin to what we see, things getting smaller with distance. So in other words, the one on the left, the globe one, ignores that. That is claiming that things don't get smaller with distance. It's just going over a curve. Well, that's total nonsense. Anyone with half a brain realises that things do get smaller with distance and then eventually disappear from view, as opposed to things just going over the curve of the Earth, the only assertion they can make. They can only make that assertion by removing the very reality of things getting smaller with distance, which is all Earth curve is. Earth curve is just perspective.
I've got a question about perspective. In the first photo and the one on the very left, when we've got the further out windmills, whatever they're called, following the Earth's curvature.
Yeah.
I mean, from that perspective, would those be more slanted rather than more perpendicular up and down? Would they be more angled outward?
Not at the distances involved. I think we're talking about 11 or 12 miles away, so you wouldn't see an awful lot of sort of like what you're explaining. You wouldn't see that. If it was 100 miles, you could say that, but not at the distances.
To be fair to Slice Arcane, we saw this also modelled out identically by Chris Monk, so he did the same exact thing, he just didn't publish it. So when Sly brought this out, we were like, yeah, we've seen this already. We know what the comparison is. Now, I don't think we were exactly there 100% to saying what I say now. Earth curve's just perspective. But at the time, we were pretty close to being able to make those similar assertions. But yeah, so we had seen this modelled on Blender prior to this being released by Sly. So we knew that what he'd done was accurate and how close they were. We were like, that's a bit of a problem. Why are they so close? Well, the reason is because one is a hijacking of the other.
Yeah, well firstly, what I want to say, I want to say that every time that I show an observation with wind turbines in, right, every single time they say, look at the turbines getting nearer to the floor and the paddling, it's proof of curvature. Well, ignoring obviously the one on the right is closer to reality, which is obviously the flat Earth model. It doesn't matter whichever way you look at it. Things get smaller with distance, and this is the effect that we'll have. So anytime that we see these wind turbines on an observation, you cannot default go back and say, look, they're going over the curvature of the Earth. Even Slice Arcane has modelled it out. Obviously, he's modelled this with things getting smaller and going over the curve, so it's a greater drop off. And this one, he's just modelled it things getting smaller, so as to the flat plane. But ultimately, you get the same effect. This is reality. This is a flat Earth model. This is a globe Earth model. It's indistinguishable for the most part. So whenever you see these, you can't just say it's proof of
I
curve.
think, Ranty, the ball earthers want to know the cause of things disappearing, because what they've done is they've comprised a list of reasons that we give for the disappearance of objects and sunsets. So Nathan just said perspective here. We've spoken about compression and things like that. Like, is it a mixture of answers, or is there a single
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all the list. Literally, all the things on that list are just another example of something that could be used for obstruction. Nathan got in touch with me about this video that was put out. I had a quick look, and what I determined was, in this location, Lamont St. Nelson Bay in Australia, we only get 1 meter tides, which means that at any one point, the tide is only ever going to be 3 feet higher or 3 feet lower. And this is from his video. It's only a couple of minute video, and we have 2 observations from the same point. And obviously what we can see the lighthouse in the center, clearly on one, and just the light on another. Now, if you look and you know that there is only a 3 foot difference between high tide and low tide, and look how relatively close this lower one is in relation to the horizon, or the perceived horizon. I'm going to call it the perceived horizon, because if we look across on the right hand side, look at all this extra land that we're seeing over here, and it's hidden here. And look at this land mass over here that's obviously visible in this top image, but not visible in the lower image. Now, if we put a line of sight from let's go over here, and we just this line of sight in here. So top of the top of the lighthouse is level with whatever we're seeing over here. And when we put this in here and we look across, we're seeing nothing. It's hidden. Whatever we're trying to see is no longer visible. Now, it's a perfect example of what you're actually, when you compare like for like, and it's almost a 3 meter swell. It's not that huge, really. But look at what's being taken away from you. Look at what's missing. And it's just another example of, we have atmosphere to contend with whenever we're doing these observations. And the globers don't take that into account.
Shout out to Leonardo Gonzalez for the super chat. Just to answer your question, Spurs, yes, Tim Osman's done a really great job of listing all the things that get called Earth curve, and every single thing on that list will get called Earth curve. So they only have one assertion. Earth curve. Doesn't matter what it is that you're observing or what the effect is that's occurring, it's going to get called Earth curve regardless. So all of those effects detailed by the globeheads, at the time I'm sure they thought they were being really clever. Oh, we only have one assertion, we're really concise. We say it's Earth curve, always. What have you got? Look at this great big list, you can't just say flat Earth always. Well, no, there's a whole multitude of things that can cause things to disappear in the distance. They've got a whole list of them, all of which will get called Earth curve because it's the only assertion they can make.
Why don't they have a whole list of all the places the curvature has been officially measured, and all the ways that the Earth has been measured to spin? They don't have those types of lists, but they have lists of the reasons why things disappear in the atmosphere. It's very cute to me.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I was laughing along while Tim Osman was making that example. I was like, brilliant. So you're actually going to list out all the things that you call Earth curve and think that that's somehow a win. Okie dokie. So I was called ranting. I was like, get this list down. This is brilliant. It's all the things they call Earth curve.
The thing is, I was just thinking that, because if each flat earther is going to have a different answer for why things disappeared. So on that list, one of us will say one thing, unless they're producing a list for us that we can compile and say it's a list of those things, we're all going to be given a different story, so to speak, if you understand what I mean. Like you've just said perspective, and then, I'm saying compression, but we're seeing at different times. So again, how I think this is why they get away with it, because they all can sing off the same hymn sheet and say Earth curve, right?
Yeah.
So what do like I just said, we're going to have different answers. So how do we kind of combat that? That's why I'm trying to think.
I think one thing we need to look, one word we need to talk about is diffraction. And I know the globers have kept asking Nathan, what is diffraction? But realistically, it explains so much in the observations that we see. You know, when we see like fake waves or dirty air and that kind of stuff, but mainly fake waves. You know what I'm talking about when I say fake waves, guys? I've said it. I've shown you many examples of that. And that to me is just the Aries disks not being able to keep all the information in the same pixel. So things get disjointed, and obviously the information, the pixel has to make a decision which information it's going to show. So when it's jogging around and showing you a bit of atmosphere, then a bit of the water, and it's like the fake waves, that's just diffraction in real time. Whenever we see those fake waves, that is literally diffraction of the camera happening right in front of you.
Sorry, I don't want to. I hate having to go back, but you guys move so fast. Look, that first picture that you had of the windmills, right? This is what I'm trying to get at. This is just a round tube, and this is just kind of modeling the Earth globe, right? Now, if these pins were windmills, right, and there's Earth curvature, I know that if in real life we'd have to do this from a far distance with great, really tall objects. But how come whenever we see any pictures or models, we never see it like this? We never see the angles of as the curvature is occurring, that we never see the angles of the objects, the towers.
You mean you don't see tilted
outward.
buildings? We don't see tilted buildings. We never see tilted buildings. If you go on a plane and you look out,
he's asking why. Can I just answer him?
Yeah, sure.
Because it's flat.
Well, can you guys try and make Earth globe again? Come on. Thanks.
Yeah, we don't see tilted buildings. We never see tilted buildings ever, and we never will.
Randy, can I get you to bring up your first observation again?
Sorry, can you do what? Sorry?
Can I get you to bring up your first observation with the windmills? That first one.
Hang on. Let me see which one you're trying to get first.
The one before that one.
Oh, you mean this?
With the wind turbines?
This one?
That's the one. Yeah.
That's
the one. Yeah. The one thing, like, you know how you drew the two lines on there? The only thing that I can see an issue with is if you look at the picture in the middle, the turbines aren't actually lining up properly. It looks like you've got the first one at the front there, and then the second one dips down, the next one dips down, and then they kind of come back up again, then dip down again. So it's almost like the line it's got the last four turbines on your illustrated diagrams have got to kind of come up again. Or is that just my eye? Does it look like that?
That is through the center of the hubs, that is actually right through the center of the hubs. I can actually see the end of the hub on this one, just there.
Okay, yeah. I just didn't have your screen on full. Like, it just looked like they were dipping and then coming back up. So I thought that might have affected your outcome there.
No.
All good.
And as you can see, that I've lined it up correctly on both.
It could be the still. This is actually, sorry, just to maybe give you an answer to this. This is taken from a video. So this still of the turbines is from a pan that Ranty did when he dug it out at my request. So there may be a slightly better still. That's, I don't know. I can see what you're saying though.
I've got loads of these, mate. Literally, I could go and get this all day long for you.
Sure, but I'm
just using this because this is the one that he modelled out. So he modelled this exact observation.
Sure, but in the real world image, I think his point is that between turbine 3, if you count them from the front to the back, and turbine 4, there's like a bowing. They look like they've got a bigger gap. There's like a bowing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, possibly a better still from the video required.
Okay.
Not that I think it makes a great deal of difference.
A still on my first video on my channel, Ranty? Because the guys over on Jose's channel ripped mine a new one, eh?
Okay.
I reckon it confirms globe. But,
well, let's do it another way. Let's do it from the model. Let's do it from the model on the left hand side. So this is the globe Earth model. So if I put it, if I now put it on the center of that turbine over here, I think we're a long way out there. That's a long way out. You know, the hub isn't down here. The hub's there. You know, that's modeling it from his. So this is his model.
What about if you bring it across from the other one? Does it do the same thing?
I'm sure it'll be nearer. Let me do it from the center to the center. Then we bring that over. Sure, that's nearer to reality. So you can see that it's the center one.
And what this is based off the curve calculator, is it? These
Yeah,
two.
distances, the observer height, all that.
Okay.
So with that, I'll say if you're watching this on the Nathan Oakley channel, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. However, if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley 1980, unfortunately, this is where we bid you farewell. Massive thanks to all who tuned in, smashed the super chat, liked, comment, shared, subscribed, all that good stuff. As I say, be sure to stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!